Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Black Mirror Season 3, Episode 1. It's called Nosedive, full spoilers for the episode. And of course, this is the first of Season 3. This is Netflix, I've just put this up. We're going to be doing one episode per day over the next 5 days.
Six if you include today.
6 if you include today, but the next 5 for more episodes.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were looking forward to this. We did all of the previous Black Mirror episodes last month, so they're all up. There'll be a link in the corner for the playlist, and you can check those out. That was the wrong corner, don't mind me. That's the one.
Oh, I got it right. Nailed it.
There you go. But yeah, so full spoilers for episode 1, Nosedive. Now, of course, obviously they're all standalone episodes, so all you have to watch is the first one, and you can then watch our discussion on it. So this is the one that's actually co-written by Rashida Jones. Joe Wright directed it. It stars Bryce Dallas Howard and Alice Eves in it as well. So, fairly, names. There's names attached to this one. Names that I recognise. Faces that I recognise.
I think it's a bit different to before, where the first few series, they grabbed people before they were big names. Whereas now it's like, nah, Netflix, we can just get people to come to us.
Yeah, and this is the first one that's entirely American set as well.
I have to admit, that really threw me off at first. For the first, 5 or 10 minutes, I was like, this is weird with it being American. It just seemed different. Not bad, it was just different.
It felt a bit more expensive, but I don't think it... I think it still felt like an episode of Black Mirror.
It did. I think it was just all the cast having American accents was throwing me off.
It almost felt like they were fake accents, even though every single actor was American.
Yeah, it's just because I'm so used to... with this show, I'm so used to going, okay, British people, that's what they typically were.
I'll be honest, I think it was a nice change of pace. It was a nice difference from the first two seasons.
I said, I didn't mind it. It was just for the first few minutes I found it really noticeable.
It was nice recognising actors and, because, really Black Mirror as a concept isn't specific to any one Western country. It kind of covers all of us. Themes are, relevant to everyone. So, yeah. So the plot of this one is... Once again, we have a more advanced social media. Once again, we have a technology that sort of goes in your eye that, lets you see things, that are linked to your social media in this case. And the primary gist of this one, though, is that everyone has a rating. Out of 5, like absolute cavemen, barbaric, quite frankly. If you're going to rate someone, you do it out of 10 like a civilized human being.
You hear that, James? Out of 10.
Out of 10. Even he won't be happy with this though, because it's got 3 decimal places after the main number.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh dear. But yeah, so everyone's got a rating out of 5. It goes to 3 decimal places, and basically, not only do people rate out of 5, all of the it's not Facebook, but let's just call it Facebook. Their Facebook posts, their images, their comments, and all that.
All social media posts essentially.
So not only do they rate that, but they also rate each other after every interaction. Now, I wasn't sure if it was each interaction had its own rating, or if it was a case of it overrides the last one, so that that's your rating of that person based on how you're feeling about them right now. I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things, but I wasn't sure which way that was.
I think it must be each interaction, because there's the scene where she's talking to the guy who tracks everything, and he talks about her core circle, and they must count for more than one thing.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense. But that's the gist of it. Now, before we even start talking about what the actual plot of this episode is, and obviously it's called Nosedive, her rating is going to shoot down. She starts off at 4.2 something, or 4.1 something.
4.2.
Well, it's that before it starts going down, but I think she's a little bit lower before that. Because she gains some good 5 stars at the start of the episode.
That's true.
So I think it's 4.1 something.
Yeah.
At the start. But before we even get to the actual plot of the episode, can I just say that before we even get to commentary, just this idea on its own, the idea that because in this episode we see that this is the main value of everything. People who are above 4.5 get the special VIP treatment of things and so on, and people who are below 2.5 are treated like the scum of the earth. Can I just say that this system is a horrible idea, because I would not flourish in this system whatsoever.
Selfish.
I do horrible on first impressions. The idea that someone would rate me after 3 minutes of talking to me is terrifying.
That said, there were some points where it reminded me of real life.
Oh no, I think there's
No. Like the actual system, not just the commentary of it.
Okay, all right. Okay, what did the actual real life thing reminded you of then?
Uber drivers. You have to give them a rating after every time you take one. I don't know if you've ever been in an Uber.
I have not. I have never used an
Right.
Uber.
So after you go in them, you
It's like
give
eBay,
that
by the sounds of
driver
it.
you give that driver a rating. But
Right.
a lot of them are like, okay, give me 5 stars, like while you're in the cab,
All
like
right.
before you get out. They're like, all right, yeah, make sure you give me 5 stars, and they can give you one as a customer as well.
All right. So this is maybe even directly inspired, perhaps, by Uber, which has obviously been around for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I never used an Uber, so that
I've
was.
only used them a handful of times, but
I've
yeah,
not. I've never been in a situation where I've gone. I won't use the taxi company. I will use an Uber. You know.
it happened to me when I was. It's been times where I've been out, I've needed a taxi, but I've not had any cash on me, and
Right.
there's no
Okay.
cash point around, and Uber just lets you pay on your phone.
I see. I see. Although I think some taxi companies have started letting you do that as well.
They have done, but not the ones by me at the time.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, that's fair. But obviously, the commentary here, and obviously the theme that runs throughout this, is that because they're always conscious of wanting a better rating, they're constantly having this really fake, phony, let's smile and be nice to everyone, so that no one could possibly have a bad thing to say about me. And what it really felt like to me, it was almost like, again, it's an exaggerated thing of something we actually do, and it's when you're on social media and you use emojis and you're constantly being nice to people so the whole point of this episode is that sometimes real human interaction where you get to say what you feel and you get to have a heart to heart, even if that means shouting at each other, even if that means telling someone something they don't want to hear, is a good thing. It's healthy. It's
Yeah,
part
it's
of
one of those
life.
things where on the surface, at first glance, it looks like a good society because everyone's nice and, it seems like a good thing.
Oh no, it seemed like hell for me from the get go, but
Okay,
I'll get to
all
that in a
right,
minute.
but that's the it's supposed to look that way.
It felt so phony, and because there's a moment at the end of the episode actually when after she lets go and everything, she's in the sort of the jail cell at the end, and obviously we'll get to that when we talk about the plot. But there's a moment where she looks up and she's noticing specks of dust float, and it's right after she's had the things taken out of her eyes that's linked to the social media. And I almost read that as this is like the first time in years, if not her entire life, where she's seen the imperfections in
Yeah,
the world, because maybe this lens that she has over her eyes actually like hides all that, and it's just
yeah. It was
perfect,
amusing. It
clean.
played the scene like like the end of like a Christmas movie where they see the snow and everyone
Yeah,
looks up in
yeah,
wonderment. That's exactly how it played.
yeah. Actually, do you know what it reminded me of in a really odd way? Minor spoilers for Equilibrium, but have you ever seen Equilibrium?
No.
It's a movie about not about Christian Bale. Christian Bale's in it, but it's about a society in the future where emotions are illegal, so they all take drugs to stay neutral at all times. And there's a scene sort of, and the plot of the film is that he feels emotions finally, and he's part of the police force who, like, hunts down people who are illegally feeling emotions. But he eventually feels emotions himself. And I don't think that's not much of a spoiler because that's just the plot of the movie.
That's kind of what you expect.
That's the premise, yeah.
Yeah.
And but the scene where he first feels emotions and he looks out at the sunrise from his window and like starts crying, that's kind of what it reminded me of in a weird way.
Fair enough.
But no, so that's the gist of the episode. And she wants this new house. She's living with her brother. Her brother's very anti-system. He's got like a 2.5 rating because he's he's a
I think he's in
gamer.
threes.
He doesn't care. Yeah, you're right. 3 point whatever. It was the guy who kicked out of work because apparently her work, if you go below 2.5, you get fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's always just a new form of racism, but it's like layered. It's
Yeah,
like
it's classist essentially.
yeah, there's like tiers to it, but it's very discriminatory, like just based on a number that you see at a glance. So yeah, so she wants a new house. She's living with her brother, so she wants a new place, and it's too expensive. But if she gets her rating above a 4.5, she gets a discount. She gets like the you're the special class discount.
I think the point of it is that when you're that high, you have greater influence. It's there's some other stuff that's done this, like in real life. I can't think what now, but like if you're a higher user, your impact counts for more. It's weighted.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure something like Instagram does that kind of thing.
Does Instagram do it?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Sounds like
Yeah.
something that would do though.
It does. But so that's the idea that when she's a 4.5 or higher, the stuff counts for more. So that their idea is they give them a discount because when they put pictures of stuff up, it has more
Yeah.
goodwill.
Okay. Well, Yeah, so that's what she's trying to do, and you know it's going to all go wrong. But she's doing some strategic rating of other people's things, so they'll rate her things highly. Also,
Yeah,
I just say I love. There's a little moment where someone rates one of her things 4 stars, and she looks so offended.
she does, doesn't she?
It really cracked me up.
It did, and she immediately goes through it. It's like, oh, what makes you so perfect?
And we should mention the character's name's Lacey. It's Bryce Dallas Howard who's playing the main character. And she's very good, actually. I think she does this. There's almost this creepy. I actually thought this episode was really creepy, and nothing about it is actually creepy on the surface per se, but just the way they're all being so nice to each other creeps me out.
No, I get it. I feel
Everything's so
like that's
clean.
something that makes it feel like an episode of Black Mirror,
Yeah, yeah.
where there's kind of this underlying horror almost of everything.
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
Terrifying. But things start going wrong for her, almost through no fault of her own to an extent, where her flight gets cancelled because she works up this big speech. She's going to give this maid of honor speech. She's been asked to be the maid of honor from this old friend from school who is like a 4.8 or something ridiculous like that. She's like super popular. She's rich. She's got a private island with her fiance. She's getting married. This is Alice Eve's character, and Vapid is all hell. But she's asking her to be the maid of honor. And it turns out, we actually find out at the end, the reason why she's asked this is because, getting someone who's like a 4.2 to do this works out well, because it's seen as bringing your, like, lower past.
yeah, it makes you look humble.
Yeah, makes you look humble. So even her, like, everything she's doing is to get a good rating. And obviously she's obsessed with it. She got a 4.8. She's obviously been...
Yeah, and she mentions how everyone on the guest list is 4.7 or higher.
Yeah, so obviously this is Lacey's chance to get like all these like big ratings from these influential people because they're all highly rated. But our flight gets cancelled, and there's a fantastic scene of her losing her rag in the airport. And the airport security docks her a full point, which will go back up in 24 hours. But while that 24-hour period's active, she's on double
Damage.
Double damage, meaning if anyone rates her low, it counts for double.
I love that they called it double damage. I don't know why. That just is one of my favourite things about the episode.
I think what made the episode really fun was her reacting to things, and when things started going wrong, even though it was kind of obvious where the episode was going the entire time, I don't think anything that happened in this was surprising.
No, it wasn't. You were like, okay,
Yeah.
stuff's just... As soon as she... You probably get it as soon as she puts down the deposit. And it's like, right,
Yeah.
now the stakes are there. That's it. It's not going to happen. It's going to get worse.
But she'll be a better person at the end for it.
Yeah, it's very predictable in that sense,
Yeah.
but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. And all of it, like I say, is entertaining. Her, like, getting mad at the car because, well, again, we're in the near future, so the cars are all electric and they go to charging stations rather than, petrol or gas stations. And her adapter doesn't fit, which made me laugh because I was just thinking of Apple and how they changed all their adapters a couple of phones ago, which amused me. But, they didn't give you
An adapter.
an adapter. Oh, well, you have to ask around.
My favourite bit was like, okay, and then she's like, because that guy's just, he does like watching porn on his phone because you can hear it. And she gives him like a 5-star anyway, and then he looks up and just gives her like a 1-star or a 2-star or something. And she looks so offended. It's brilliant.
Oh god! And that's when she ends up sort of trying to hitchhike, and she runs into this woman who's got like a 1.2 or whatever rating.
Oh, you missed the sci-fi bus though.
No, Sci-Fi Bus is after this.
Is it?
Yeah, it's after this.
Oh, okay, I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, because it's when she gets closer. She's in the 30 miles or whatever it is.
Yeah.
She gets in this, and it's this woman who used to be like a 4.8 or whatever, and she explains how after her husband died of cancer, like, it didn't seem important anymore. Who gives a crap about stupid ratings and so on?
Yeah, she was saying it was because the moment was when the hospital gave up his bed to a 4.4 when he was a 4.3.
Yeah, and it's like, this is why this rating system's stupid. Just from an outside point of view, this is why this rating system's stupid. But and she's asking her, did the yelling feel good? And she's asking all these questions, and you can tell she's not really taking it in. She's kind of,
Yeah. But it's like something she's going to remember later.
Yeah. And but again, you see because she hitches a ride on this this RV that's going to a sci-fi convention near the wedding, and she pretends to be into this stupid sci-fi show, which is a made-up show. I can't even remember the name of it.
Sea of Tranquility.
There you go. Connor's got a better memory than me. I do. What was it they called themselves? The fans?
Trank something.
It was It was like
Trankheads.
Was it Trankheads? Okay.
I think so. And she said, "Oh no, we call ourselves like something else."
Yeah. I can't remember the exact term they used, but it was cracking me up. The whole thing. But I love how when she got off the phone because Naomi, who's the bride, phones her and says, "Oh, you can't come. You're like a 2.5 now. This is just not acceptable. You're only coming because you were this rating." And it's just like, oh god, this is just vapid as all hell. And she like explodes and says she doesn't even like the stupid show anyway, and they kick her off the bus. Which is when she steals some guy's quad bike.
Yeah. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I just at this point you're just kind of going with it. It feels like such a road trip at this point. You're like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she gets all dirty. She falls in a pond or whatever, and swamp or whatever body of water that was. Yeah, rock bottom. Yes.
Yeah.
And shows up at the wedding and gives her speech, basically at knife point, and threatens to cut the little not teddy bear, but the little rag doll thing that she and Naomi made when they were kids, and gives this rock bottom speech while everyone's feeling awkward about friendship and whatever. But of course, the whole thing is that she's finally getting to unleash. She's finally getting to erupt and say what she actually feels, rather than this phony,
Yeah.
And that's kind of why the final scene in the jail cell, when she starts, after she has that moment of like beauty when she sees the things and the little specks of dust, and she's into that. But the moment after that, when her and the guy in the cell across from her start just sort of playfully arguing, where they get to say really mean things to each other, but they're smiling as they do it. And it just starts cutting really quickly as they're saying really happy things or really nasty things to each other, but in a really fun-spirited way, and they're smiling, and that's the end of the episode.
It's some banter, basically.
Yeah, banter, yeah. It's like how we talk to each other, but much more neutered because it's TV.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, should tell the things I say to Connor off air.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear. But no, I thought this... I thought there was I thought the commentary was good. I thought it was a lighter episode of Black Mirror, but I wasn't complaining about that. I feel like it was a nice...
easing you back in.
Yeah, it was a nice... More light-hearted, but not without the sort of darker lesson to learn from it, from underneath.
Yeah, it still has the cut-in commentary, like it should have.
And again, like I say, Bryce Dallas Howard was cracking me up with her reactions to things. Also, I loved it on the taxi ride to the airport. The cab driver rated her poorly, and I could tell it's just because he had to listen to that inane conversation on the phone when they're screaming because of the engagement ring again, and they're like, ah, and he's just like, oh, 2 stars. I'm right there with you. If I was him, I'd be downright her as well.
I would too. That's annoying. As soon as she first screamed when she first saw it, I was like, ow, my ears.
Yeah, I will say this. I was kind of expecting throughout the episode a scene with her brother again, where she kind of has a heart-to-heart with him. I was kind of expecting that.
Yeah. It was weird, because she kind of brings up the fact that he manages to coast by on all his gaming buddies.
Yeah.
Like, they can rate them online, like when they're playing against each other, I assume.
Yeah.
So, it's... Although in real life, that would be so abused. Enemy teams would give everyone 1 stars constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, they would. Maybe there's... I don't know, I'm just...
Safeguards.
Yeah, safeguards so that you can't just spam people, yeah.
So we'll get into that next time. I think the next one might be gaming focused.
One of them is. I don't know which one it is, but one of them is. But no, I thought that was a solid opener. I would go as far to say that I probably liked that more than any episode from Season 2.
I wouldn't go that far, but more than some of them, for sure.
Yeah. I thought this was great. I thought this was a nice breath of fresh air. It was different enough that it was exciting, but it still felt like Black Mirror. And there were still ideas that I'm used to seeing in Black Mirror sort of popping up.
Some of them were maybe a little bit too familiar to ideas we've had in the past. Like the 1 million stuff.
I get it.
It's different, don't get me wrong, but there's just enough similarities to go, yeah, this is Black Mirror.
Well, even the eye thing as well. We've seen
Yeah.
that twice now in different things. Honestly, I feel like because it's focusing on social media and the internet and stuff like that, there's not too many drastically different things they can do.
Yeah, these things are going to crop up multiple times. That's fair.
And I think that's why season one stands out as being really great, is because everything was still new for that whole season. Whereas even season two already was having things that were, oh, this is kind of like that one in episode season one, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm excited. I'm excited for the rest of the season now. So
Yeah, I am too.
episode two will be around tomorrow, and of course, yes, human interaction, real human interaction, where you're honest with people, is important, which is what this episode so kindly tells us. And there's probably more we may have missed. By all means, give us your analysis in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. And remember that our next episode of this or next review of this will be up tomorrow. So thank you very much, guys. Let us know what you thought, and yeah, we'll see you next time.